Hello everyone, John here, and I am back with another Fuuto PI episode review. So this time we're talking about episode 7, and yeah, I'm caught up finally, so let's just get right into it. This episode starts off with Philip and Shotaro walking through a blizzard. They were in the mountains picking mushrooms, and we don't really know why at first, but we'll get to see a bit later on. Let's do a scene where Akiko is writing in her notebook that her hubby is a bike, and Tokime is thinking in her head that she probably meant her hubby is riding a bike, but obviously that's not true. If you've seen Double, or actually if you've seen the background gameplay from episode 6 review, you will know that Axel can turn into a bike. It's like his whole rider gimmick is that he is a bike for some reason. So Tokime is actually wrong, but she doesn't know. She just thinks it's like a grammatical mistake when really it's not. After that, we finally learn the reason why they were searching for the mushrooms, and it was because Philip basically went down a rabbit hole about these mushrooms, and he absolutely needed to know, and he had to get them. So he basically just hyperfixated them until he got them, and then they got caught in that blizzard. So kind of unfortunate. Charles' fault a little bit because he told him that he knew where they were at, so kind of enabled him a little bit and causing them to get into the struggle that they're in basically for this next few episodes. Stranded in the blizzard, Shotaro and Philip run into a sort of mysterious woman with dark hair, and she actually helps them out by giving them blankets and leading them to safety. So big shout out to her. So they make it inside. The lady tells them to never tell anyone that they have seen her face, and at first it's kind of a weird thing to say. Just watching it, when you get to this part, it's like, why would you say that? But later on we see why, basically. So we'll get to it when we get to it, but it's weird now, but it makes sense later, basically. It takes them to the main hall of the mansion or the whatever, and they see a bunch of people wearing masks. It reminds me of that Always Sunny episode where Frank goes to that orgy where everyone is wearing a mask, and it's just a bunch of old people. Kind of the same thing, not a murder mystery though. The owner of the mansion asks them what they think goes on in the mansion, which is kind of like a weird question to ask, but I guess he's just curious to see what they think. Goes with the obvious choice and says it looks like a masquerade, while Shotaro goes with the more abstract choice and says it looks like it's out of a fairy tale and that it reminds him of Fox's wedding, which is very specific, and it must be sort of Japanese thing, I don't know. He is actually on the right track with his answer, at least according to the main guy. This whole thing is about selecting a wife for the guy to marry, and it's sort of like this weird sort of game, like The Bachelor or whatever. And I guess this makes sense why the lady who saved them told them to not one that they saw her face because she was supposed to have a mask on and she didn't. And the whole point of this game is the masks are there for a reason, basically. The main man is named Kuya Kagamino. The old lady in the background is his grandmother named Kiku Kagamino. Basically, this whole weird marriage thing is so he can find a suitable wife who has a good personality. It's basically what he wants. He doesn't care about what they really look like, which is why they have the masks. So kind of an interesting way to show off that concept in like a visual way, as well personality and not looks. Doing it this way, quite interesting. Never really seen it done this way, but pretty cool. Not bad, Fuuto PI, not bad. Because due to the blizzard, the tunnel that takes them out of this town is blocked by snow, so they are stuck in this mansion until the blizzard stops, which is very scary. Actually has kind of one creepy line where he says that they could technically live there for 6 months without running out of supplies. And I guess it's supposed to be kind of reassuring, but to me, it kind of sounds like the start of a horror movie. Like, we seem safe, but come on. I could keep you here for 6 months if I really wanted to. I don't know, I don't really like the way he said that. Kind of weird. They're given masks to wear since it's part of the tradition, and they're the only ones that aren't wearing a mask. And it's kind of funny because they literally wear a mask all the time. It's Masked Rider W. I mean, come on, W actually, Masked Rider W. So the masks are in the same color as the Luna Trigger combo, so blue and yellow. I don't know if that's on purpose or what, but just thought I'd point it. That's to the next scene, and Shotaro and Philip are eating dinner, pretty much enjoying themselves, talking about what's going on and stuff, and someone walks in the room and says their name is Kanamori. Dramatic irony here because we know this character is Yukiji Bando, as we saw in the last arc and episodes before, but Shotaro and Philip don't know him by that name, or by the name Kanamori, and honestly I was surprised to see him pop up in this episode. It looks like he's going to be involved in this arc, so I was not expecting him to be here, but he is, so we'll see what happens with that. The day has passed, and now it is night, and Shotaro is just walking the halls. I guess he has to use the bathroom or something, and he sees the girl who saved them earlier, sort of like shaking, and he goes up to her, and they talk, and then she reveals her name, and it's Kana Kubokura, so that's her name, and Kana asks Shotaro to help her out, and that she isn't interested in marrying Kuya anymore for some reason. We don't know why, but she's not interested, and she also seems very scared. Something might have happened, and this might be a little hint of what we'll see later on, or something, I don't know. During that conversation, Shotaro hears a crashing sound and runs outside to find one of the girls from this sort of bachelor thing dead. So she has died. She seems to be like pierced by something in her chest, and it's holding her up on a tree. I think it might be the tree. They might have like picked her up and like killed her on it, Dead by Daylight style. Is actually the first victim of this sort of weird game that's going on here, and perhaps she wasn't suitable for Kuya, or one of the girls she was arguing with earlier might have killed her. I don't know, because she did get into a fight earlier. So I don't know. Could be one of the girls, could be the guy, could be the dog, could be everyone. Except Shotaro and Philip, basically.
Kamen Rider W 2本のガイアメモリで変身サイクロンジョーカーマキシマルドライブヒートメモリで変身ルナメモリで変身4本のメモリで変身デラックスダブルドライバー。
Shotaro gets attacked by a Dopant while he's outside, looking at the body, and the Dopant does say that there is one less candidate for the marriage, which to me is very suspicious. So this Dopant seems to know. It's not like this Dopant isn't just like a random like killer outside or something. Like, this is someone from who knows about this, who is here, and for them to say that there's one less candidate, I don't know. It's definitely, I don't know. There's so many options. I feel like I'm playing like Until Dawn or something. Like, there's so many options. I don't know who it could be, but obviously we probably aren't supposed to know because it's only the first part of like, I guess, in 3 parts. So we'll see. Comes in clutch by saving Shotaro using the stag and bat gadgets, as we saw in the last episode, to knock the Dopant out, like on the ground. Not fully knock it out, but sort of knock it out the way. And then they transform to fight the Dopant. And unfortunately for Philip, he has to fall over in the freezing snow, which kind of sucks. Akiko isn't there, Tokime isn't there to hold him up. So he is just stuck in the frozen snow, which can't be good. Which basically means that they can't fight for long, because if they fight for too long, he's gonna get frostbite and just die. And who knows what would happen then. Interesting thing I never thought of, especially with Double. Like, what if Philip just died right there? Let me know if that happens in the show. At least while they're fighting. Like, obviously they would, like, untransform or whatever, but like, kind of interesting. I never thought about that. Philip clutches it up once again by replacing his Cyclone memory with Heat and forms Heat Joker. Another great combo, one of my favorites, which only makes sense in the freezing cold blizzard. And when they transform, there was a big fiery explosion, and Philip concludes that the Dopant uses alcohol, which is why the explosion happened, because alcohol is flammable. It means that the Dopant uses alcohol to some extent. The Dopant runs away, of course, and they go back inside, and Shitaro and Philip talk to Kuya and his grandmother about this, and they don't really put up much of a fight here. Shitaro and Philip say that they need to help them out, and they need to like see all the faces just so they can get a better like perspective on the case. And I thought they would have been more stubborn about this traditional thing, but I guess not. I guess they just want to be safe, basically. Which to me, maybe they're less suspicious for that, but I don't know. It's hard to say. And then one of the girls talks to Kuya about something, like if they were all to die or whatever. And then Kuya says that any girl who survives this sort of event is scarier than a monster, which is kind of wild to say, and he would absolutely marry them like right away. Very interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, you survive all these murder like by the Dopants, and like you made it out. So like you're scarier than the monster. You outlive the monster. Also, very interesting that he knows that it is a monster, or like scarier than a monster. Like, wow, how does he know it's a monster exactly? So I don't know. There's so much to think about here, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This is pretty much ending off the episode here. We have a montage of information, basically. So I'm just gonna go through it because this is important for setting up the next episode. So first, we learn the butler's name and age. He is 52 years old, and his name is Tadashi Kimura. First person we know, besides the two Kiku and Kuya, is the so-called visitor, aka Yukiji, which we know, but they don't. He's 25 years old and goes by Daisuke Kanamori. He's a friend of Kiku and apparently helped choose the female candidates. Interesting. As we know, he was an antique art dealer, and that's how they got the connection. Is a woman who died first, so her name was Koyomi Zaizen. Cool ass last name. And she was only 23, unfortunately. Kind of sad. It's sad that she died so young. And she was in training to be a geisha. That was her profession. The girl in the red dress. She is 24 years old, and her name is Kurumi Nanba, and she works as a hostess. The girl in the black dress. She is 21 years old, and her name is Kei Arito. She is a former pinup model, which is kind of strange to me because she's only 21 and she's already retired from being a pinup model or gravure model. She was of age, but I don't know. Sometimes in Japan they don't wait till 18 for the gravure sometimes. So I don't know. Kind of weird that she's 21 and already retired from that. I wonder what happened with that. I'm kind of interested in that because I feel like that doesn't really happen, like with gravure models. I don't know. I'm not too familiar, but lastly is the first woman they met. She is 26 years old and is named Kana Kurokura, and she works as an office worker at a pharmaceutical company. Very different from everyone else. Very normal in quotes, job. So that's all the information about everyone else. So everyone here now ends by showing off the tree where Koyomi died, and her body seems to be missing from the tree. Someone took her body off of the tree during the night. So I don't know what's going on with that, but that's where the episode ends. So good murder mystery, good Among Us. Gotta have the Among Us joke. Come on. I can't wait to see episode 8. Actually, I'm very excited now. This might be depending on how it goes, it might be my favorite so far. But everything's good, pretty much. So, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and comment down below. And I will be back next week for episode 8 review. So see you guys in the next episode.